Hey fans, it's your girl from Mel's Mat Chat, and this is episode 233. How is everybody's Friday doing? Um, Jesus, in the next 3 weeks, you're gonna see a lot of me. That's gonna be the beauty of me being able to do videos and then upload them and whatnot. I may not be able to be doing full-fledged episodes, but it's going to be with we're gonna preview predictions and stuff like that. It may be that I'll do just as like an extra of like the stuff like the incidentals that are gearing up for WrestleMania. There's just gonna be so much going on. And I want to let everybody know that from the 27th to the 2nd, I'm obviously Friday, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something for that week that I might not I might just do like stories and how things progressed and me to love wrestling and whatnot, and how things are, that what I want maybe for this person or that person. That's gonna be uploaded on a Friday because I'm gonna be in Las Vegas. Ah! So, what do you call that? I'm gonna, of course, that following Friday, we're gonna have a great time that following Friday. We're gonna be, I'm gonna tell you what it did. I may not tell you all of what I've done, but just enough to get the gist. I know it's whatever you do in Vegas stays in Vegas, and there's certain things I'm not going to be able to tell you, and there's certain things I'm going to be able to tell you. I just can't wait to go. I'm excited, and it's just going to be awesome. All right. Um, I hope everybody is having a fantastic Friday. I'm having a phenomenal Friday because I am. One second, I just got a text message. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Sorry, I knew that took a little time up, but I needed to answer these, texts and stuff, um, parent stuff and whatnot. I'm having gonna have a great weekend, even though it's gonna be really crappy around here on Saturday. Today is like almost 75 degrees finally. I mean, it's crazy that we go from freezing cold to maybe very cool, crisp, and then all of a sudden we're hot. I swear to God, in New York, Mother Nature has decided to enact her menopause here. She's one thing or another. This is ridiculous. And I could say this because I am going through the exact same thing. I could be cold, I could be hot, I could be freaking to the point that I'm going to want to go into an ice cold shower. And then 2 seconds after I got in, I'm freezing my ass off again. It's ridiculous. So I'm having a great Friday. Just taking it easy, not there's no nothing really going on. I also want to touch on Razor Ramon and Scott Hall. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family. And this one hurt. This one definitely fucking hurt so much, to the point that, like, now I can't even talk about him without welling up. And it's Scott Hall was the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega before they were cool. They were my generation of the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are for the next generation, because they're changing the business on in their generation. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Sean Whitman, X Pac, Shawn Michaels, Triple H have changed the business from what we see it today. In the next 10 years, you're going to see the business completely change again, because of the influence of the Young Bucks, of Kenny Omega, of AEW. So it was difficult to see that on Monday, and it brings to a light that nothing's promised tomorrow. You cannot promise tomorrow, because they may not be tomorrow. Like, I could legitimately die tomorrow with no reason or rhyme or reason. Now, I'm gonna use my grandmother, when she's fucking home. I'm happy. I'm like, my prayers. Whoever helped me with the prayers, thank you. I want to thank everybody. To I My family needed it, and my grandmother is back home. They just bought a dog. Everything is um copacetic, so I'm really, really happy about that. What I'm not happy about is that there's going to be a monster amount of wrestling this WrestleMania season. We have, on April 1st, was announced the other day, that Killer Cross versus Minoru Suzuki. Yes, times 1,000. And then we're gonna have, like, Supercard of Honor, and so on and so forth. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a filled weekend of wrestling. Crazy, crazy, crazy. A lot amount of wrestling. So let's get this party started, or this tribute started. Let's get it started. Let's honor former multi-time intercontinental champion, multi-time tag team champions, multi-time WCW champions with tag teams and singles titles, former, I think he was in AWA, NWA, all where he touched. He also was in New 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 Japan Pro Wrestling. They even on YouTube have released a free match. Go check it out. It's on New Japan, and they've done it in Japanese, and they did it in English. So they got you covered both ways. I want to tell you a story, and this is going to end up being around the ladder match at WrestleMania 10. I All right. Finding out that WrestleMania was going to be in my town, literally in my backyard. It was going to be in Madison Square Garden. I kid you not. I was begging my father to get tickets and whatnot. So then I come to find out they're sold out. And my father said I couldn't get tickets. I couldn't get tickets. So about a week or two after, they were going to open the Paramount in Madison Square Garden. So I said, okay, maybe if I can go and see it there and whatnot. So I asked my father again. I said, even though I can't be in the building, I could be around other people and it would make it somewhat okay. So my father found out that it was all sold out. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm not going to WrestleMania. Okay. I I'm not, I shouldn't even be admitting this to it, but do you remember those like illegal cable boxes back in the day? My family owned a shitload of them. All right. My father, I asked him, at this point, he already knew that I was asking for it. So he said, yeah, no problem. So I said, okay, you're going to bring it over Friday, hook it up, and we'll have it all weekend. You pick it up Tuesday. That's what we normally did. So we end up going on, and it was getting closer and closer. If I'm not mistaken, Easter was early that year. So I think I was on spring break at this time. So me and my mother, we went to go take a walk to Walgreens. And I'm like still bummed. I'm like, I don't understand and whatnot. And I can't believe I'm not going to WrestleMania, but at least I get to watch it with my grandfather. He was gonna come over. I had my lad downstairs named Regine and her grandson. They came up, they normally would come upstairs. We all watch it, have like snacks and stuff like that, which my mother made, which is delicious. Oh, you want to have a spread? My mother had a spread every single time without fail. Birthdays, special events on TV. She was the go-to person. So, I already had that. I was trying to plan everything. I said, okay. So I'm walking and everything. I said, yeah, too bad dad could get tickets. My mom said, I can't take this much longer. Can't take this much longer. I'm gonna tell you this. You're going to WrestleMania. And I'm like, what? You're going to WrestleMania. I said, am I going to the Paramount or I'm going to the actual garden? My mother says the actual garden. So, anywho, I'm in the middle of walking and I'm screaming. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I go home and my mother told me to call my father to let him know that I know, because how is he gonna pull this one off? This would have been should have asked him. I should have asked him how they were gonna pull this off to surprise me, because in Long Island, there's not that many ways that you could surprise somebody to going into the city. When you're getting on a train and it's heading towards west, you're going to the city and there's no ways about it. So I would have loved to know how they were going to pull this off. Anywho, let me speed up. So the day came, I'm psyched. Couldn't wait to go. My father picks me up at my apartment. I go say goodbye to my mother, and my father even hooked up the box for my grandpa, my cousin Daniel, my downstairs neighbor Jean, and her grandson Scott. So I'm there. I'm having a great time. I'm just it's my very first WWE pay per view. So all right, that was a big deal. WrestleMania, my very first pay per view. Please, okay. So I'm not expecting anything historic or anything like that. I go through the events and everything like that. I got to see, and I was in the building for that historical ladder match. That ladder match is being cemented my real journey during to watch being a professional wrestler. I was knee deep in everything. That match was classic, classic, and a lot of people usually have tried to emulate it or paid homage to it. Nobody's going to tell me that that wasn't the best ladder match. With the ladder matches that have evolved, like the Money in the Bank, regular the ones that are normally going on and everything like that. That was in my honest opinion, that was the best ladder match ever in my entire life. Now, knowing I seen that, fast forward to now finding out that Razor Ramon and Razor Ramon Scott Hall had passed away. That man at that point brought WWE into more of a mainstream, because you're going to go look back, like, you're going to think about Razor Ramon, you're going to think about Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash was all in there. Who was the people who to change the business back then? It was the beginning of the click and everything like that. They changed the business. They were the Bucks and Kenny Omega of my time. And I'm saying my time is because I was young. Dear Lord, I'm going to be 40 in freaking 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks. I can't believe I just said in my day. Um and those are the people that who don't get enough credit because they're only thinking about the Bucks. If you sit down, who started to change the business? It was the Click. They had Vince McMahon like this. When Kevin Nash and Scott Hall went to WCW, they upped their game. Now, obviously, WWE bought WCW, and there was another. Then you had Paul Levesque, Triple H. They had Shawn Waltman, X Pac. They also had Billy Gunn and um, Road Dogg. Those would be the undisputed era. The, those would be the undisputed era. Those are the people that who are taking what was beginning and they just enhanced it. So with Scott Hall, Roman Razor Ramon, he made me want to watch Scarface. He made me want to, embrace my Latin heritage a lot more. I am 25% Puerto Rican and I am proud of it. And it hurt to see him get honored, and it's going to get harder. It's going to get harder because it's not going to get any easier. We're going to get word that Kevin Nash has passed away, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Sean Whitman, you know, and I guess I guess he he drew the short straw, and he's going to be the one to start this whole situation. As I picture it, he's walking to St. Peter. He says, "Hey, yo, I would like to take a survey right now. Who wants Scott Hall to enter heaven?" Round of applause. You got Bobby Heenan, um, Gorilla Monsoon, and all the legends that have died before him. They raise theirs, and he goes, "Survey said, another one for the good guy," and he's just walking through the pearly gates. As I told one of my lovely friends that I've made through social media, I said to him, Vince McMahon Sr. is booking a better fucking promotion right now than anybody else. That's the stuff I would like to see. That's the fucking Monday Night Wars I would like to see. None of this shit. I want to see that. That is legendary. So I'm just glad everybody was positive this week. And people were wondering if Cody Rhodes was going to debut on Monday. I don't think he was this stupid. I don't think so. I think he knows where he's going to pop down and cause holy shit moments. We knew that Monday Night Raw was in Jacksonville. But I think because of how much of his father was um an icon in the business. Scott Hall was an icon. He will be an icon. He is an icon. He said, "You know what? I'm going to do this. Let's do it at WrestleMania. Better yet, people have to tune in on Monday, and it's going to get more and more and more and more. And then sooner or later, it's going to be." I've got to give Cody Rhodes that. I believe that he said, "Let's do this at WrestleMania. Better idea. It's going to be more over, blah, blah, blah." I am not going to praise him, but I got to respect him in the because he didn't want to take the focus off of Scott Hall, and hands off to you. I can't be mad. I can't be mad. That is what I would have done. Okay. So again, this episode is dedicated and to him, and Godspeed. You will be missed, and God takes another good one. God takes another good one. He was 63 and he was survived by his 3 children and I believe his wife. So let's make sure we don't forget about him. All right. Every time that there's a ladder match, you got to think about Scott Hall. All right, let's get back to business at hand. The weekly run through of WWE, NXT, AEW programming. I will be next week. Next week, I will be giving you my schedule. I will give you my schedule. I will give you my so you know what I'm doing. I will be posting it on Twitter. And yes, Twitter, Mel's Mat Chat on Twitter, Mel's Mat on Mat Chat on Instagram. Go find me on Snapchat. Go find me on TikTok. Go find me on Facebook. And would you please do me a favor if you're going to request a friendship, just at me on Twitter. Like, hey, I'm gonna go on Facebook. Can you please accept my? And then I have no problems, okay? Because I don't take random people on Facebook. Facebook, nuh-uh. I got my whole account taken away for a stupid reason, and I couldn't get it back at all. And fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg. All right, let's crack-a-lack. Let's get this going. We are starting off with the first show of the week, which is SmackDown from last week. SmackDown began with WWE champion Brock Lesnar making his way out to the ring. Lesnar immediately calls out Roman Reigns, and Lesnar says that you don't draw first blood on Brock Lesnar and live to tell about it, i.e. Cain Velasquez, i.e. and Roman's in trouble with an angry beast. Seriously, I actually want fucking I'm so irritated that I want fucking Brock Lesnar to win. Honestly, Lesnar says he is there to draw blood on Roman tonight. Lesnar demands for Reigns is answered by Paul Heyman. Making his way out, Heyman fakes the crowd out and says that Reigns is not here this evening. Lesnar says that without Reigns here, Nobody is there to protect him. Lesnar leaves the ring and chases Heyman through the backstage area, with Lesnar taking out several security guards. Heyman is eventually able to jump in a car and that drives away from Lesnar. Now, I gotta ask this simple question: where the fuck are the Usos? The Usos are supposed to, oh, I don't know, be surrogates for Roman Reigns. Shouldn't have, and then go out and protect uh the tribal council. No, 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 no. Nobody gets that by me. I'm sorry. Oh, wait till we go into this subject. Sheamus and Ridge Holland are interviewed backstage about their upcoming tag team match. Sheamus introduces their new associate, Butch. So, Bruce Pritchard, Vince McMahon, and Kevin Dunn were having lunch. Bruce is having the number eight at McDonald's. I don't know what the number 8 is. I haven't had McDonald's in ages. Um, Kevin is just got a freaking bag full of wood chips. That's what he was having for his lunch. And then we have Vince McMahon eating what? A what is it? A flatbread sandwich. I don't know. And they said, "Remember the little rascals?" Yeah. Remember the little bad kid? Yeah. I think we need to make Pete Dunne Butch. I felt terrible for him. I felt terrible for him. I seen it on his face. Like, holy shit, I've been in this fucking company for 5 fucking years and I lose my identity. He was at fucking Survivor Series vying for the NXT championship against Adam Cole. You're going to change it then. He was on NXT for 2-3 years. In state. Still Pete Dunne. You put him on SmackDown, he's Butch. Oh, this is why I have to get prescription ibuprofen. We go to commercial break. Big E and Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Big E and Kingston attack Sheamus before the bell, and Sheamus and Holland regroup outside the ring. The match officially begins with Sheamus slamming Kingston to the corner, with Holland making the tag. Holland hits a shoulder tackle, and Kingston pops up and hits a jumping elbow strike. Kingston hits a drop kick and covers for a 2. Big E tags in as Sheamus hits, as in, wait, Big E tags in as is Sheamus. Sheamus hits a lariat and kicks to the midsection. Sheamus dives off the top rope with Big E, catches him, and hits a belly-to-belly throw. Big E goes for a splash on the apron, but Sheamus rolls away, causing Big E to crash on the apron. We come back from a commercial, and Big E hitting a belly-to-belly suplex. Sheamus hits Kingston, are both tagged in. Kingston hits a boom drop and follows up by hitting the SOS. Big E goes to hit a spear through the ropes, but Holland dodges and sends Big E crashing to the outside. Kingston goes to the top rope, and Butch climbs to the apron to cause a distraction, allowing Sheamus to take the advantage with a kick and cover for a 3. Sheamus and Ridge Holland wins. After the bell, Butch runs in the ring, beat down Kingston until Sheamus and Holland have to drag Butch away from their opponent. This is where Big E breaks his neck. He's doing great. It was hilarious or coincidental that they were in Birmingham, Alabama. Thank God no surgery. He's going to just probably be out until Probably next WrestleMania because you don't fuck with a broken neck. I'm wondering if Kurt Angle could give him some pointers. Drew McIntyre and the Viking Raiders versus Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, and Jinder Mahal. Before the entrants are done, the heel team is shown backstage taking out the Viking Raiders. McIntyre begins to walk to the back, but McIntyre is faced with onslaught by the heels. McIntyre takes out everyone else and stares down Corbin. Mahal attacks McIntyre from behind, and the heels team up and beat down McIntyre. McIntyre eventually powers to his feet and takes out Mahal and Moss, causing Corbin to flee outside of the ring. McIntyre pulls out the sword and points to the WrestleMania sign as he stares down Corbin. So McIntyre goes from somewhat of a main event on night one, very first time, two-night WrestleMania for 36. And he's now have to deal with Corbin. Man, Corbin must be loving this type of fucking work. Easy fucking work, right? Doesn't have aspects to go for the WWE Championship or the Universal Championship, whatever it's going to be called after WrestleMania. So we go to commercial and we come back with Ronda Rousey in the ring. Rousey says that Charlotte Flair revealed her grappling ignorance by saying she was a one-trick pony with the armbar. Rousey says she has perfected the ankle lock, which she learned directly from Kurt Angle himself. Charlotte Flair then interrupts Rousey promo by making her way out to the ring. And this bitch didn't even fucking wear a brace or something like that. I fucking can't stand Charlotte Flair. She doesn't sell. She basically doesn't give a shit. Please do me a favor and get rid of her. Please. Charlotte says that Rousey should be less concerned with Kurt Angle and more concerned with winning when it counts at WrestleMania. Charlotte says she will make Rousey tap out at WrestleMania. Charlotte then walks out of the ring after Rousey challenges her to make her tap out in the ring tonight. Sasha Banks and Naomi make their entrance as it is announced that tonight's advertised match has been switched to a tag team match between Sasha Banks and Naomi against the team of Shayna Baszler and Natalya. I feel so bad for Shayna Baszler, it's not even funny. She got screwed. Fucking goddamn Becky Lynch should have went fucking rogue and said, fuck this shit. She's getting the title. I don't give a shit. I'm going to be leaving to go have a baby. What are they going to do to me? We start off with Natalya hits a Michinoku driver to Naomi and tags in Baszler in. Baszler hits a stomp to Naomi's ankle. Baszler locks in the knee bar. Naomi is able to kick free of the hold, but Baszler is able to throw her into the corner. Naomi counters with a kick and a tag in Banks as Natalya is also tagged in. Banks hits a Meteora and goes for a baseball slide, but is caught by Natalya. Back in the ring, Natalya hits a lariat and covers for it too. Banks Irish whips Natalya into Queen Zelina, and Banks goes for the cover for 3. Sasha and Naomi pick up the win. We go to a commercial and back with the Usos in the ring. The Usos said that WWE management do not have a worthy opponent for them at WrestleMania. Following the statements, Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura come out to the stage, and Boogs announced that they will be the next SmackDown Tag Team Champions at WrestleMania. Jimmy Uso says if Boogs can beat Jey Uso in the ring tonight, they will have their match at WrestleMania. Rick Boogs versus Jey Uso. The match begins with Jay immediately going after Boogs' injured leg. Boogs tears off the tape on his leg and shows that the injury was not as severe as the Usos thought. Boogs hits a delayed vertical suplex. Boogs hits the pump handle slam and covers for a 3. Rick Boogs wins, so we get the match at WrestleMania. We go to a commercial. We come back. We have Intercontinental Championship Ricochet versus Sami Zayn, and for the fucking love of God, if you're gonna call that goddamn number that uh um what's his name, Johnny Knoxville found and displayed everywhere, it's not in service anymore. So whatever it is, stop. Okay, it's ridiculous. Before the bell, Austin Theory makes a surprise entrance as he walks down to the ringside area and he slaps Pat McAfee, and Theory and McAfee begin to brawl near the announce table. Security eventually come to separate the two and escort McAfee to the back. We come back from another commercial break. Our championship match officially begins with Ricochet hitting a kick to Zayn's chest. Zayn locks in a side headlock, and Ricochet breaks out of and hits a head scissors takedown. Zayn rolls outside the ring, but Ricochet drags him to the apron. Back in the ring, Zayn hits a power bomb into a cover for a 2 count. Zayn hits a lariat and locks in a chinlock on the mat. Ricochet ducks a lariat and hits a hurricanrana and follows up with a top rope elbow. Ricochet goes up to the top, but Zayn gets to his feet to knock Ricochet off the top rope onto the barricade. We come back from another commercial. The match continues live with Ricochet going for a standing moonsault that Zayn counters by bringing up his knees. Zayn goes for a back suplex that Ricochet flips out of. Zayn goes for a vertical suplex, but Ricochet counters by hitting a hurricanrana into a cover for 2. Zayn hits the Blue Thunder Bomb into a cover for 2. Zayn puts Ricochet on the top rope and climbs up to hit a suplex. Ricochet avoids the haluva kick and goes for the top rope and hits a 630 to cover for a 3 count. Ricochet picks up the win and he retains his title. We cut to backstage where we see Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey fighting. Remember when they all three? This was a fucking joke. And let me tell you something. So Charlotte Flair goes and changes. Her father never changed after he went to he went. So this is bullshit. This is absolute bullshit. Okay. And on top of it all, she doesn't even fucking sell the ankle injury. Okay. WWE officials tried to separate the two, but Charlotte is able to suplex Rousey onto the hood of the car. Charlotte tries to force Rousey to tap out, but officials drag Charlotte away from Rousey. Charlotte walks away with Rousey lying on the ground as SmackDown goes off the air. Sweetheart, Charlotte, I'm gonna tell you something. She could have fucking legitimately killed you tonight. So this I don't fucking believe at all. Okay? On to on to Rampage from last week. They are Rampage is eliminated in Hertz Arena in Asterio, Florida. We start off with Darby Allin versus Private Party Mark Quinn. Darby had control of Mark's wrist and rolled through to a headlock. Quinn tries to get to his feet, but Darby puts the headlock right back on. Darby fought out of a hammerlock and used Quen's momentum against him, sending Quen to the arena floor. Quen met Quen met Darby Allin outside the ring and Darby crashing into the ring steps. Quen realizes the opening was there, and he dropped Darby midsection across the top rope. I think Quen is wearing Prada boots here, said Ricky Starks. Quen rammed his shoulder into the midsection of Allen. Darby does not know the word quick, continued Stark. Quen applied the abdominal stretch onto Darby, but Darby countered with a hip toss. Quen came back and grabbed a front face lock. Darby pulled down hard on Quen's arm, trying to yank it out of the socket. Darby and Quen fought on the top rope, but Darby was able to suplex Quen for a near fall. Quen hit a backflip knee drop on Darby for a near fall as the momentum shifted again. Quen nailed Darby with a backflip flatliner. Quen attempted a delayed vertical suplex, but Darby pulled off Quen's grip and landed with a scorpion death drop on Quen. Right there, shades of his man Sting on the outside, said Taz. Darby climbed to the top rope and Cassidy tried to distract him. Sting yanked Cassidy down and hurled him at the timekeeper's table. Quen seized the moment and landed a 450 splash off the turnbuckle to the floor on Darby Allin. What a gamble Quen just did there, said Starks. Quen tried for a shooting star press, but Darby dodged it and applied the Fujiwara armbar, forcing Quen to tap out. The AFO stormed out onto the ramp and were walking down to the ring when Matt and Jeff came out to even the odds. One of the greatest tag teams of all times coming to the aid of Sting, Darby, and Excalibur. All right, we have for the TNT Championship, we have America's Top Team. Dan Lambert was backstage with Scorpio Sky and All Ego Ethan Page. Lambert, we're here to make history. Next week on Dynamite, when Scorpio Sky beats Wardlow, will go down in history as nothing but another footnote in the greatest unbeaten streak that AEW has ever seen. I think that's going to be for Jade Cargill. He's been beaten before. She hasn't at all in her time in AEW. Ethan Page, don't let the one belt fool you guys. On Wednesday night, Sky is defending 2 titles, the TNT title and his streak. Sky, War Dog, nothing changes in San Antonio. You're just a different opponent who's going to see the same result. I'm the face of TNT. Get used to it. Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Martinez. Hayter and Mercedes looked up and grappled on the mat. They locked up again, but Mercedes delivered big shots and whipped Hayter into the corner. Hayter ran into a boot, and then Martinez followed up with a lariat. Hayter ate a series of elbows from Martinez. Mercedes has had a very long and decorated career, said Excalibur. Martinez hit 3 butterfly suplexes for a near fall on Hayter. Jamie Hayter spiked Martinez with a backbreaker. Hayter blasted Martinez with a strike to the jaw. Martinez threw Hayter overhead onto the corner. Hayter is hurting, says Taz. Martinez dumped Hayter with a spider suplex. Rebel distracted the referee while Britt Baker blindsided Martinez. Hayter scored the pin after a huge lariat to Martinez. After the match, Britt Baker was looking to add insult to injury, but Thunder Rosa sprinted to the ring with a steel chair and chased out Baker and her squad. Thunder Rosa doesn't want to wait until the steel cage match this Wednesday night on Dynamite, said Excalibur. Limitless Keith Lee versus QT Marshall. Keith Lee attacked QT with a headbutt. QT gouged Lee in the eyes. Lee whacked QT with a double overhand chop. Lee belittled QT corner to corner. QT connected with a missile dropkick off the top rope. Keith Lee nearly knocked QT out of his boots with a clothesline. Keith Lee lifted up QT, but Nick grabbed Lee's boot from the outside. QT used the distraction to hit a thrust kick on Keith Lee. Keith Lee shoulders tackled QT. Lee hoisted up QT and then planted him hard for the pin. Aaron jumped into the ring and got on Keith's back, but Keith shrugged him off. Nick jumped into the ring and ate a back elbow from Lee. Nick was flattened with a pop-up power bomb from Limitless Keith Lee. Keith Lee sent Aaron over the top rope. Absolute Ricky Starks said Absolute Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs charged to the ring to ambush Lee. Hobbs planting Keith Lee with a spine buster, Triple H style. How much power does this man have? What a display from Hobbs, said Excalibur. We have the main event, Shane Swerve Strickland versus the premier athlete, Tony Nese. Swerve is now part of the Bullet Club. He is part of the Bullet Club. And speaking of the Bullet Club, the Gorillas of Destiny are no longer part of the Bullet Club. Just a little FYI if you are Bullet Club freaks. Swerve sidestepped Nese. Swerve shot a nice low single and took control of Nese's head. Swerve took down Nese with an arm drag. Swerve tripped Nese with a mid-direct, then dropkicked Nese in the side of the face. Nese baited Swerve in with the skirt of the ring apron, with blindsided him with a dropkick. Nese hurled Swerve into the steel ring steps. Nese doesn't want Swerve to come into AEW and make a name for himself at the expense of Nese, said Excalibur. Nese connected with a diving foot stomp on Swerve. Nese applied body scissors, trying to tax the cardio of Strickland. Swerve is trying to draw on the energy of the crowd here, noted Excalibur. This is as the fans chanted Swerve's house. Nese connected with an uppercut to Swerve's throat. Nese tried for a moonsault, but Swerve rolled out of the way. Swerve fired some big heavy-handed shots at Nese. Swerve followed up with a big diving uppercut to the side of Nese's head. Swerve deadlifted Nese into a brainbuster for a near fall. These rolled throughs and caught Swerve on the top rope with an uppercut. Tony Nese almost upset Swerve with a fireman's carry into Nese's knees. Nese kicked Swerve in the face. Nese dropped a 450 splash onto Swerve for a near fall. Tremendous rotation by Tony Nese, said Excalibur. If you're Nese, you're thinking, what the hell else do I have to do, said Taz. Swerve swept out the legs of Nese and caught him with a thrust kick to the jaw. Swerve foot stomped Nese from the edge of the ring, knocking Nese down to the arena floor. Swerve rolled through and planted Nese center of the ring for a near fall. Swerve kicked Nice in the head. Swerve climbed to the top rope and stomped Nice for the pinfall victory. Well, that wasn't easy, but Swerve captured his first victory in AEW, says Stats. So on Wednesday's show, it was loaded. I swear to God, I was loaded. We had Baker versus Rosa in a steel cage. They did main event, which I was thrilled. Scorpio Sky versus Warlow for the TNT title. Adam Cole, baby, and Red Dragon versus Adam Page and Jurassic Express. So this was loaded. It was loaded that on that night. Let me get rid of these. Let me get rid of that, and we can go Okie dokie. Now we're going to Raw. Come on. Open the app. Open Sesame. Yes, sometimes I do talk to my phone. Okay, we started off with Monday Night Raw. We started off with a graphic acknowledging the passing of Hall of Famer, double Hall of Famer. Double Hall of Famer Scott Hall. Then after that, we see the replay of last week when Kevin Owens called for Stone Cold Steve Austin to appear on the KO show on WrestleMania. The next day, Austin confirmed it on Twitter that he would appear on the show with a promo in which he said Owen has awakened something inside of him that he hasn't felt for the past 19 years. I think if he was super healthy and nothing was going on back in the day, I think he would have stayed an extra 5 years. Kevin Owen makes his way to the ring and Owen says, "Hey, yo," and the fans cheered. He says that we're looking at right now is the happiest Canadian camper in the world because he is going to WrestleMania. Owen says he used his superior Canadian intellect to get on the card this year. And since none of the yellow teeth Texans can turn down a challenge, he challenged the embodiment of Texas itself. And he knew Austin would accept. Owen says he is proof of himself because now the entire world and the USA gets to witness the most stupendous KO show of all time when he stunned Stone Cold all over Texas. The only can that he will open up in Texas is a nice Canadian beer. Owens doesn't like beer, but he'll make an exception on that night. Nobody will be saying, "Oh hell yeah," when he is done with him. Everybody will be saying, "Oh hell no," as they watch him beat the living hell out of Austin. Owen says, and that's the bottom line because KO said so. Owens then hits a stunner on the cameraman with a stunner. WWE United States Champion Finn Balor makes his way to the ring. He'll face Damian Priest in a 9-title match next. If people wondering why he was at the Royal Rumble is because, see, the thing is, people don't understand. He is not from the United States, so he had to go back to to Ireland to renew it. So it was crummy timing, but it was a good timing to get ahead of the whole situation. So he had to miss WrestleMania, and I think this was his consolation prize, which I don't have any problem with. So so we come back from a commercial break. Before the match can get underway, Austin Theory makes his way to the ring. We could see replays of Theory challenging Pat McAfee to a match at WrestleMania, a day after Vince McMahon granted McAfee a match at the event. A week later, Theory returned to SmackDown and smacked the headphones off of McAfee. McAfee is viciously attacked Theory. McAfee then viciously attacked Theory. Austin will be on commentary for this match. Balor versus Priest. The bell rings and Balor takes Priest down with a woo drop kick. Balor takes him with attacks him with wait, Balor attacks him, but Priest knocks him back and hits a knee to the midsection. Priest throws Balor into the corner, but Balor spins him around and shoulders away at him. Balor sweeps the legs and goes for a double stomp, but Priest moves. Finn drops kicks Priest out of the ring. Balor goes to the apron and looks for a kick to the face, but Priest blocks it and knocks him down. The Priest beats Balor at ringside and picks him up to hit a razor's edge on the commentary table. Balor is wiped out as we headed to break. A legendary maneuver was on Twitter. Back from commercial, and Priest gets a 2 count off a reverse STO. Chest kicks from Priest, followed by a rolling elbow. Balor fires back with some chops and leg kicks, but Damien claps his ears with a double slap. Balor is sent to the corner, but gets his boot up to block an incoming Priest, then trips him and hits a double stomp for a 2 count. Balor connects with a sling blade, but Priest then levels him with a roundhouse dropkick. Balor reverses a body slam into a inverted headlock elbow drop. Finn hits a shotgun dropkick, then goes up top, but Theory jumps up and distracts him. Finn locks Priest down with a dropkick, then goes out, nails Austin with a shotgun dropkick to the floor. Back inside, and Priest catches Balor with a reckoning for the win. Priest wins. Seth Rollins is interviewed backstage and asks if he has a clear path to WrestleMania. Rollins doesn't answer the question. Amos makes his way out to the ring. After the break, he'll be facing Commander Aziz in Battle of Giants. We come back from commercial. We have the two giants lock up and struggle for a control, but Amos forces him back against the ropes, then clotheslines him over them. Apollo just causes a distraction and allows Aziz to get back in and cheap shot Amos. Aziz beats down Amos into the corner, but then Amos hits him with a crazy suplex, followed by a choke bomb for the easy win. Amos picks up the win. After the match, Amos drags Apollo into the ring and hits him with a choke bomb as well. Kevin Owens approaches Seth Rollins backstage and tells him to stop being so glum. That is, he's Seth freaking Rollins, and he can still have a WrestleMania moment. Owens reminds Rollins of his past WrestleManias. He said the two of them can come up with something. Rollins has an epiphany and walks off smiling. We go to a commercial. We have Liv Morgan versus Queen Zelina. The match gets underway with a lockup, and Zelina slams Liv down. Morgan kips up, but Zelina hits her with a neck breaker and transitions directly into a submission. Liv fights up, but Zelina catches her with a running boot. Zelina is slung from the ring and when rushes back in, Morgan hits a sunset flip for a 2 count. Morgan then traps Zelina in her legs and rolls around the ring. Morgan with a few kicks, then a drop kick. Liv looks for a rope assisted kick, but then she gets up. Carmella appears on the apron and distracts her. Liv swings for Mella, who jumps down, and Zelina powerbombs Morgan on the outside. Rhea Ripley walks Carmella down. She ushers over to Corey Graves to protect her inside the ring. Liv hits Oblivion for the win. Morgan wins. The architect, Seth frickin' Rollins, makes his way to the ring and he looks to be in a very good mood. We come back from a commercial. We see a lengthy replay of the recent ongoings between Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, and Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins is in the ring and he says he has a plan to get to WrestleMania. With less than 3 weeks to go, he thought all hope was lost. When he and Kevin Owens lost the tag title match last week, he thought it was over. But then his best friend reminded him that he is a visionary and a revolutionary, and he has a plan. However, he wants his best friend to be with him for this moment. Owens joins Rollins in the ring. Seth says KO has a talk show, and his guest will be Stone Cold Steve Austin. But what if he also had a talk show? He could bring back the Rollins report from the old days. And what if he interviewed Stone Cold as well? Owen says, no. Seth can't also have a talk show. This is a terrible idea. Owen tells Seth he needs to think more about this. Rollins says Owens is right. There can be only one talk show, so now how about they have a match tonight and the winner gets Austin? Owens is not happy whatsoever. They start bickering about it until out walks Sonya Deville. She says she likes that idea of a match, so they can do it tonight in the main event. And if Rollins wins, he will replace them at WrestleMania. We see a replay of Miz and Logan Paul on Miz TV last week. The Mysterious make their way to the ring. Back from commercial, Kevin Owens is complaining to Sonya Deville backstage about Seth Rollins potentially taking his place at WrestleMania, but she just laughs. We have Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus the Hurt Business. Logan Paul and The Miz are on commentary for this one. Dominic starts against Shelton and crashes him with a head scissors right away. Dominic drops Shelton on the middle rope and hits the 619, but Cedric knocks him off the apron. Alexander tags in and grabs a waistlock on Dominic for a few minutes. Dominic tries to fight up, but Cedric cuts him off. Dominic lands some right hands and a jawbreaker. Hard to follow this match because they were more interested in showing Miz and Paul on commentary. Rey knocks Benjamin off the apron and hits a springboard tornado TDT to Cedric for a near fall. Mysterio hits a Frankensteiner to Cedric, and he knocks Benjamin off the apron. Rey tags in Dominic after a 619, then dives out of the ring onto Shelton. Dominic hits a frog splash for the win. The Mysterious pick up the win. As soon as the match ends, Logan and Miz rush in the ring and attack the Mysterios. Paul shoves Rey at the Miz, who looks for the skull-crushing finale, but Mysterio kicks Logan away and throws Miz out of the ring. Rey and Dominic surround Logan, who swings for them, but gets kicked and beat down. The Mysterios look for a 619 on Paul, but Miz drags him out of the ring. We see a replay of Edge's new entrance and promo from last week's Raw, where he said he has been reborn and he's on a whole different level. Edge will be live next. We come back from a commercial break. Edge makes his way to the ring. New music from Alter Bridge. But rather than Metalingus, he's now the other side, which, oh my God, I'm going to tell you this. Since watching wrestling and whatnot, when we had takeovers and it was the black and gold brand, I made it a point to go out and listen to that completely. My taste in music, because of Triple H, has completely evolved, no pun intended. And if you ask me to listen to anything pop right now, I will regurgitate. Sorry, I will regurgitate the actual classic pop rocks and pop. This shit is fucking auto-tune times 1,000. Moving on. And if you must know, when I was a teenager, I loved the New Kids on the Block. I loved Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, so on and so forth. But I wasn't a Britney Spears fan whatsoever. Christina Aguilera, she was my girl. Yes, I just showed my fucking my age. Sue me. Edge says he is the benchmark of WWE. His synapses have been firing at such a speed that it's taking him some time to come to grips with that fact. He wants to put it in terms even fans will understand. He's better than every single person in the industry. But since he came back 2 years ago, he hasn't shown that aptitude. The Edge that came back was just happy to be there, was weak. The, that Edge was keen to please the fans, but he realized that the fans don't matter to him. He looked he took his eyes off the prize and let a man like Randy Orton to tear his tricep off the bone, allowed Seth Rollins to walk into his home, piss all over his territory, allowed an Aquaman cosplayer like Roman Reigns to stack him and pin him at WrestleMania. And if that Edge faced AJ Styles at WrestleMania, he gets smoked. But that Edge is dead, baby. I gotta tell you this. Holy shit. Edge is gorgeous. Edge is fucking sexy as hell. But when he came out, it just took him to another fucking level. Holy shit. I'm here for it. Now he sits on his mountain of omnipotence, looking down on everyone. He won't be judged by fans anymore in that locker room, and certainly not AJ Styles. From now on, he will pass the verdict, and he apologizes for that if he cared, but he doesn't. So if AJ can make it WrestleMania, their two generational talents will meet for the very first time. Then he will be judged. Bianca Belair interviewed backstage and admits that her hair is an unfair advantage, but she only used it when Becky Lynch first wait, but she only used it when Becky Lynch used it first. The only weapon she needs is her real talent, and that that's what Becky is afraid of. She says it's very peaceful around here since Becky has been gone. And tonight she's going to give Becky a preview of WrestleMania. And if Becky can't speak now, she'll be shut up for good after Mania. We have, for the umpteenth time, Doudrop and Bianca Belair. The match starts off with Doudrop clubs Belair with axe handles. Belair is sent over the top rope, but she punches Doudrop away and jumps back inside. Belair avoids Doudrop in the corner and leaps over her a few times, but misses a drop kick. Doudrop looks for a senton, but Bianca rolls out of the way, then hits a handspring moonsault. The action spills out of the ring, and Doudrop shoves Belair into the barricade, then looks for a cannonball, but basically spikes herself. We go back from commercial break, and Doudrop gets slammed Belair for a 2 count. Belair reverses Doudrop and backs her into the corner for some shoulder tackles. Doudrop counters a suplex, but Belair gets away, kicks her in the face, and hits a spine buster. Belair uses the ropes to help her get Doudrop up for the kiss of death to score the pinfall, and she wins Bianca Belair. Then, after the match, Becky Lynch appears and drags Belair out of the ring. Becky sends Belair into the ring steps, then gets a steel chair. Lynch slams Bianca's face into the chair, then drags her head through it and pulls her by the hair. Throw first into the ring post with the chair around her head. Becky shouts at her that next week she's taking her hair. Okay, this is a good start. This should have been from the very beginning, but I don't know anything. We see replay of Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair's feud over on SmackDown. The two will fight for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania. If this is at the end, bye-bye. I'm going to bed early because I'm going to be doing a lot of fucking streaming that weekend. We come back from commercial. We have RK Bro in the ring for their championship celebration. We see a replay of the two of them winning the Raw Tag Team titles last week. Riddle says they did it, bro. They're going to WrestleMania. Orton says Orton says he's damn right they are. Earlier today, he was doing some math, and this year will be the 18th appearance at WrestleMania, but he thinks this will be the sweetest of them all because he's never been there as part of a tag team. Orton reiterates that Riddle and his friend and says from day one, Riddle never doubted him. He thanks Riddle and they hug. Riddle says last time they won the belts, Riddle threw a party for them. So this time he thought he returned the favor. They look around the ring, some crappy balloons and popcorn. Riddle says this is the best night of his career. Riddle is stoked for popcorn and gum. Orton points him to a little green bag. Gee, I wonder what that could be. I swear to Jesus. This is just conspiracy, or I'm talking out of my ass. Now, since we've all know this is now public, that WWE is not testing pot anymore. What is it that, since the Gorillas of Destiny are no longer in the Bullet Club, they're free to basically say, hey, New Japan, we want to go and try stuff in other companies. They come here, they sign with WWE for like 2 years, and then they can do some damage with the Usos. Thank you. It's just a little dream that I have. So moving on. The Street Profits come out and interrupt the celebration, but they say they're here to congratulate the new champions. Riddle says this is great because they can party all together. Montez says they're not here to party. They remind RK Bro that they beat them a few weeks ago. Yeah, but you just can't beat one team and beat the rest of the team or whatever they have over there. So how about they run it back at WrestleMania? Orton says they don't even understand that. RKO had to do to get those titles back, so the answer is no. Dawkins says they're not bros, and Ford says maybe Randy misunderstood him, but he wasn't asking. They're telling them that they're facing them at WrestleMania. Orton says that nobody has ever told him what he's going to do while in that ring. Not The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, or Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And certainly won't be Montez Ford. So they need to leave before he gets he starts listening to the voices inside his head and makes them leave. Orton talks Riddle talks Orton into accepting the match, and they agreed to it. Ford insults the celebration, and the fans boo. They look to leave, but Riddle stops them. Riddle says he doesn't like Ford's attitude and he doesn't want to wait till WrestleMania. The Profits look to say their catchphrase, but Orton cuts them off and says they about to learn the three most dangerous letter of them of all of sports entertainment, RKO. So we come back and we have Riddle versus Montez Ford. The match starts with a lockup, and Riddle forces Ford back into the corner, then grabs a leg, but the referee forces him off. Riddle shoots Ford to the ropes, but gets caught with a shoulder tackle. Ford leaps over Riddle in the corner and rakes his back. Riddle hits a gut-wrench suplex for a 2 count, then delivers some kicks to the chest in the corner. Riddle hits a standing fisherman suplex following a running senton for a 2 count. Riddle picks Ford off the mat for another gut wrench, but Montez Ford counters with a roll up for a 2 count. Ford clotheslines Riddle over the ropes to the floor, then goes up top and jumps at him. Riddle catches Ford and throws him overhead, but Ford lands on his feet and runs up the steps, then jumps at Riddle with a clothesline. We come back from commercial. Ford slams Riddle for a 2 count. Ford heads to the top rope and jumps, but Riddle rolls out of the way, then connects with a bicycle kick. Riddle hits a forearm in the corner, then looks for another, but Ford catches him. Riddle slams Ford, who rolls to the apron. Riddle points to Orton before hitting a draping DDT before dropping down and punching the mat. Riddle wants an RKO, but Ford shoves him off. Ford lifts Riddle up, but gets caught with a RKO. Suddenly, Otis and Chad Gable attack Orton and Dawkins on the outside. Riddle tries to dive through the ropes, but Otis gets caught and then slams into the barricade. The referee calls for the bell. So winner by disqualification, Riddle. After the match, Gable and Otis slam Dawkins, then get into the ring. Otis hits a Vader bomb on Ford. And then Gable hits a moonsault. Alpha Academy poses and points at WrestleMania sign. A great video package airs for the incredible revolutionary career of Riz Ramon Scott Hall, who sadly passed away earlier today. The fans chant Razor. I'm going to add to what I said earlier. People were already RIPing him. We wanted to wait to the official. That is fucking, you could trust it with, as the sky is blue and the grass is green. And I totally agree with X-Pac. Nobody should have been doing what they were doing that day. There was still, his heart was still beating. He's not dead. Until he coded and he wasn't going to be revived. That's when you call it. I hate when that happens. We come back from a commercial break. Kevin Owens comes to the ring for the main event, and we see lengthy recap of Seth Rollins' desperate attempts to get to WrestleMania. Rollins is interviewed backstage. He said he's learned that not only he needs WrestleMania, but WrestleMania needs him, and he's about to punch his ticket right now. Owens versus Rollins, whoever wins gets to interview Austin at WrestleMania. Wow, a proverbial Austin on a pole match. Maybe we should have used Austin Theory as like a stand-in. I know I'm going to hell. Sorry, I got the private plane. Come on, I got cookies. I got adult beverages. I got I got Death Wish coffee. I got Liquid Death. Come on, you'll be great. Owen doesn't want to engage, but Rollins is dancing and singing. Owens attempts a stunner, but Rollins shoves him off. Then the two of them start arguing. Rollins rushes him and they start hockey fighting. Owens counters a backdrop with a kick, but gets hit with a snapmare and a kick to the back. Rollins connects with a leaping knee for a 2 count. The action spills out of the ring and Owens attacks Rollins' knee. Owens gets Seth back inside and goes to work on the knee while trash talking him. Seth fights him off and rolls to the apron. KO wants a power bomb on the apron. Rollins counters with a backdrop. Rollins then hits a suicide dive, but Owens catches him and hits a fallaway slam into the barricade. Owens with a fall with a Owens with a senton on the floor. We come back from a commercial break and we have Owens is still in control of Rollins and hits a clothesline in the corner, followed by a cannonball. The two besties start trading back and forth, but Rollins gets the better of the exchange and hits a running forearm in the corner. Rollins is sent to the apron, but corners back with a springboard knee and Owens is down. Owens rolls out of the ring and Rollins quickly follows up with a suicide dive. A tope suicida, that's what it's called. And the one that goes over the rope, it's a tope con hero. Rollins gets Owen inside, but KO rolls back out of the other side. This time, Rollins hits a suicide dive, and Owens is set flying over the announce desk. The referee counts, and Owens gets back inside the 8 count of 8, but immediately eats a Avita Kadiva. Rollins goes to the top, goes up top, and lands a frog splash, but Owens kicks out. Rollins slowly lifts Owens and gets him on the top rope. Rollins wants a superplex, but Owens fights him and lands a spinning fisherman suplex for a near fall. Owens goes up top for a swanton bomb, but Rollins gets his knees up and both men are down. This is awesome from the fans in the arena. Owens looks for a stunner, but Rollins runs him into the corner where the referee is forced to bail from the ring to avoid impact. Rollins rolls up, but Rollins rolls up KO. By the time the referee returns, he kicks out. Seth berates the referee, but Owens spins him around for a stunner and he wins. We all thought that, well, not we. Everybody else thought it was good. No. What I said to you earlier, that's what happened. He said, I'm not doing this, especially tonight. I'm going to respect Hall. I'm not going to debut, and that means everybody's going to forget about him. Not going to happen. I will do this at WrestleMania. And I like that there's the mystery. Gives me fucking 3 weeks that I don't have to eat my fucking words. But anywho. So after the match, Owen celebrates his huge win after the fact. He will get to host the Kevin Owens show at WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin as his guest. Rollins stares at WrestleMania, and Corey Graves says his dreams of WrestleMania moment have been dashed, and his dreams of being at WrestleMania turns into a nightmare. Now, are you going to tell me that Cody Rhodes didn't sign back to WWE without telling me that Cody Rhodes signed back to WWE? Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Who the heck do you think I am? I am not stupid. we could get rid of this and we could go right into NXT 2.0 or Raw Junior. This week's NXT opens with the graphic commemorating the passing of WWE Hall of Famer Scott Hall. We were live in the CWC, and The Miz makes his way to the NXT ring for the very first time ever. The Miz says it feels good to be in NXT, and the fans start chanting his name. Miz says he's here because the man who turned WrestleMania week and on its head, a friend and an enemy of his, asked him to come here this week and interview him. Miz introduces the NXT champion Dolph Ziggler and a former NXT champion Bobby Roode. Miz asks Ziggler, how does it feel? And he says he's been out maneuvering everyone for 15 years, and he finally has earned it. Miz says the title looks good on him, and that he loves how Dolph just walked in and took the title from the rookie. Ziggler says he is NXT. Miz says everyone is probably expecting the rookie, Braun Breaker, to show up here and break things, but he won't be. He's seen a video of Breaker arriving at the arena earlier today, enraged, looking for Ziggler. He couldn't find him and left in a rage. Roode says a rookie like Braun doesn't understand how you have to follow the rules, which is what they, and that's why they here as NXT champion. Ziggler says he's a fighting champion and he loves wrestling. He doesn't do it for the pats on the back or the money, and they have a lot of it. He doesn't he does it because LA Knight interrupts the proceedings. Knight says he told Dolph Ziggler the doors were open any given Tuesday. And look at him now. He's NXT champion. But if Breaker isn't here to challenge for the title, then he's stepping up to bat. Ziggler says he's fighting champion, but only fights superstars. He thanks Knight and tells him to hit the brakes. Hit the bricks. Miz says Dolph is kind of right. Yet, yeah, Knight is a freak of nature. And when he speaks, everybody listens. He's going to be a star, but he's not yet. Knight takes off his jacket and says, they're right. He's not a superstar. He's a megastar. This show and Ziggler has something that belongs to him. So if he thinks NXT is Ziggler, prove it. Ziggler says he only wrestles the main event. And when Knight figures out where that is, he'll be waiting. The Miz announces the match. It's happening tonight. So I didn't know the Miz is now is a an official. Come back from a commercial. Cora Jade is being interviewed backstage and asked about attacking Mandy Rose last week. Jade says a toxic attraction has hell to pay, but she has a good feeling that they'll be looking for her too. Jade reveals that she stolen all of Toxic Attraction's title belts. North American Championship ladder match qualifier, and I love this. This is what we need on Monday Night Raw, people. Cameron Grimes versus Legado Fantasma Santos Escobar. Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams are on commentary. Santos grabs a headlock, gets shot off, and drops Grimes with a shoulder. Grimes then cartwheels over Escobar, while Carmelo says he beat Pete Dunne so bad he left NXT and changed his name. Fuck you, okay? Grimes grabs a headlock, but gets shot off, and Escobar drops him with a drop kick in the process and poses. Sorry. Grimes chops Escobar into the corner, but gets dropped and stomped. The fans are very split between these two. Escobar kicks Grimes in the chest and chops him. Escobar hits an enziguri and follows up with a drop kick. Escobar with a snapmare and kicks to the back for a 2 count. Grimes catches Escobar with a head scissors and rolls of the grime out of the ring. Grimes goes to the apron and looks to kick Santos, but Wild and Mendoza distract him, allowing Escobar to trip him. We come back from a commercial. Grimes runs at Escobar, but gets sent shoulder first into the buckles. Escobar runs for a double knees, but Grimes flips him over to the apron. Escobar hits an enziguri and goes up top for a spinning double team axe handle and a 2 count. Grimes fights up from a submission and hits a running forearm that knocks Santos out of the ring. Grimes goes to the apron again. Wild and Mendoza blocks his way, but the time Grimes dives over with a senton to Escobar. Grimes gets Escobar back in the ring and jumps off the top rope, but gets caught with a code breaker. Surprised that move is still called a code breaker. Escobar covers, but Cameron kicks out at 2. They both hit the ropes, and Cameron hits a spinning crossbody for a near fall. Santos with a switch knee then wants a phantom driver, but Grimes slides off and lands a super kick. Grimes wants the cave in, but Escobar catches him in the midair and phantom drivers and ends up winning. So Escobar picks up the win. Next week is the finals of the Dusty Cup for the women. Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray cut a promo, which they say they don't care for friends, but they have a common enemy in Toxic Attraction. They team up solely to win championship gold and destroy Toxic Attraction. Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai are backstage. Kai says she doesn't think they can win the tournament. Chu says it will be tough, but they can do it. Toxic Attraction are looking for their title belts. They tell Chu and Kai they're welcome for helping them win last week, but Kai and Chu say they didn't need help. Toxic Attraction says they did it because they can. We come back from a commercial, and we have A-Kid from NXT UK, which is great. Speaking of NXT UK, Roderick Strong is over there, and he is going to be, I believe, challenging Wolfgang, or is it Joe Coffey from Gallus? Take my fucking money, which we turn it into pounds. Take my pounds, or take my pounds. You could, either one of them, it would be great. We have A-Kid versus Kushida. The winner of the match will face Grayson Waller next week in a North American Championship ladder match qualifier. They lock up, and A-Kid takes Kushida down and traps his head between his legs. Kushida gets free and spins around him on the mat. They get back to their feet and reverse each other a few times. Then A-Kid hits a drop kick. A-Kid once played for Real Madrid's youth team, according to Wade Barrett. They continue to exchange holds and countered until Kushida grabs a Boston Crab. A-Kid crawls to the bottom rope to force the break, but Kushida drops him again. A-Kid avoids Kushida in the corner and hits a German suplex. Then follows up with a Northern Lights suplex for a near fall. Kushida kicks the elbow of A-Kid, but the Spaniard fires back with a Pele kick. A-Kid grabs the wrist, chops in the chest, then hits a springboard DDT for the win. A Kid will be taking on Grayson Waller this coming Tuesday. Santos Escobar is interviewed backstage. He says he is the greatest luchador of all time. Stand and Deliver is his time. He will be the new North American champion. Rey and Dominic Mysterio walk up and Santos shakes his hand. Dominic says if they're talking about the greatest luchador all time, his dad is right here. Elektra says Santos is going to break all Rey's records and set a new bar for lucha. Rey says if anyone's going to do that, it's Dominic. Wilde and Mendoza laugh. Then Dominic says, he didn't come here to talk, Santos says. He's going to regret this. I don't know, for the love of God. For the love of all that's holy. Why couldn't we have this from jump when Dominic first signed? Do you realize it would have made people want to watch NXT? Because the only place you're going to be able to see Dominic and Rey Mysterio would be on NXT. And have a match between Santos and Rey. If Rey wins, Dominic doesn't join. So, okay, you have Rey win, but then Dominic turns on Rey, joins Legado del Fantasma, and there's his way of shooting. He gets out of his father's shadows. Rey leaves. He's in disgust. He's going either to Raw or SmackDown. We come back and we have Saray is making her postess entrance. Tiffany Stratton asks her Saray not to be able to transform. Was a legitimate sentence from Vic Joseph. Stratton beats her to the ring and the match starts in so we had Saray versus Tiffany Stratton. Stratton beats Saray in the corner, then runs at her, but gets kicked away. Saray kicks her against the bottom rope, then looks for a hanging drop kick, but Stratton avoids it, and Saray falls out of the ring. Stratton connects with a handspring splash in the ring, then hits a sprinting Vader bomb for the win. Winner, Tiffany Stratton. I forgot to mention in this, and now it occurs to me, Booker T's wife is going into the Hall of Fame. Charmel is going into the Hall of Fame. Why could it have been, I don't know. Michelle McCool? I would have taken her before I'd taken her, but because they're actually both from Texas. Why couldn't we have two of them? Two women going into the Hall of Fame. Oh, but that's just because it's for the Bella twins, right? Knight is getting ready backstage when Walter approaches him. Walter says Knight used his mouth to get opportunities, and he doesn't respect that. Knight says if he's looking for the first opportunity, once he's champion, he can have it. Walter says Knight doesn't look like a champion to him. Knight says it's called sports entertainment, and Walter has the first part down, but he's both, and Walter can step in line. Yes, I will not be using the G word. We come back from commercial. We see JCJ wandering around backstage looking for her NXT Tag Team title belt. She finds it hanging near some shelves. She pulls on the belt and it triggers doors to lock her in. Cora Jade runs up and mocks her. Tommaso Ciampa makes his way to the ring and pays tribute to Razor Ramon on the way. Ciampa sits on the top rope and the fans chant his name. He said he wants to take the opportunity tonight to talk about gratitude. Sometimes he looks around and can't believe this life of his. He's been doing this for 17 years and the entire time he wanted to find a place he could call home. He wanted somebody to give him the chance to prove he can be the guy. It was hard to explain because he had always had the feeling if he got the opportunity to run with the ball, he would have taken it. And finally, the chance had came with NXT success wasn't imminent or guaranteed in it. NXT in success wasn't immediate or guaranteed in NXT, but seldom do good things come in easy in life. He has been here since 2015. He went from DIY to Psycho Killer to Glorious Bombs to Blackheart, and he was the best NXT champion of all times. Ciampa says the whole time I don't believe he's the greatest. I mean, Adam Cole is the longest, so he's the greatest. He's two-time. Ciampa says the whole time the fans were with him, cheering and booing loud as hell. He remembers New Orleans when he walked out with no music and the fans booed loud. They all knew he was the guy. It's been a long journey, ups and downs, surgeries, black and gold 2.0 to 2.0. Though through it all, he never left and the fans didn't either. The fans chant, "Please don't go." He said he doesn't know what's next because he always felt that he know when the chapter was ending. And for the last few months it's kind of felt that way. So what would his fairy tale ending be? He thought walking into Stand and Deliver as NXT champion would be perfect way out. But he lost that opportunity last week. And now he has been wondering how out the how to close out a chapter in a way that makes sense. He doesn't have the answer, but he does know you you don't often get a chance to say thank you before it's all over. So he wants to say from the bottom of his heart, thank you everyone for the last 7 years. Suddenly, Tony D'Angelo gets into the ring with a crowbar, but throws it down. D'Angelo says he could have hit Ciampa, but it's different. He respects him enough to talk to him man to man. He's been asking himself who he has to be to get to himself in the history books. Who can make him the man? Well, now he's standing in front of that guy, the man of NXT. It would be an honor to the family if Ciampa would throw hands with him at Stand and Deliver. D'Angelo offers his hand and Ciampa shakes it. D'Angelo then knees Ciampa in the groin. The fans chant, "Ciampa's gonna kill you." Tony grabs his head and yells, at Stand and Deliver, he will become the new Don of NXT. D'Angelo gives Ciampa the kiss of death and drops him. Who, in my mind, will always be Mr. NXT will be Rollins. We go to a commercial break and we come back. We have Indy Hartwell versus Persia Perota. The partners shake hands at the start, but Persia won't let go. Indy shoves her, but Perota shoves her back and Hartwell falls. Persia whips Indy into the corner, then grabs her from behind, but Hartwell elbows her. Perotta drops Indy on the top rope with snake eyes, then splashes her. Perotta takes India down and targets her wrist, but Hartwell fights free and wipes her to the corner. Hartwell hits a bulldog for a 2 count. She goes to the apron and knocks Persia back, but suddenly Duke Hudson appears at ringside and distracts Hartwell, allowing Persia to pick her up. Dexter crawls out from underneath the ring, and Persia is shocked, allowing Indy to slide off her shoulders and roll her up for the win. Indy Hartwell wins. After the match, Indy and Loomis stand opposite Persia and Hudson. The two couples then try to outdo one another with PDAs. It ended with India ripping Dexter's shirt off and taking him down to the mat. Persia does the same to Hudson. Where is my NXT? This is not the NXT I've grown to praise. I want my old NXT back. Shit. We go to Gigi Doling is outside the arena, searching for her NXT title, and she finds it in a dumpster. She climbs in to retrieve the belt, but suddenly Cora Jane turns on a pickup and traps Gigi inside the dumpster. Jade wipes her hands and says, 2 down, 1 to go. Raul Mendoza versus Dominic Mysterio. The match begins and the fans are firmly behind Dominic, who locks hands with Mendoza. Dominic climbs onto his shoulders and on his knees and hits a sunset flip. Dominic with a head scissors, but Raul landed on his feet. Dominic then hits a springboard arm drag and follows it up with a drop kick. Dominic goes to the top rope, but Mendoza grabs his foot and yanks him off. Mendoza stays on top for a minute, but then hits a springboard crossbody and a head scissors. Mendoza sends him to the apron, but Dominic punches him back and climbs to the top rope. Elektra Lopez gets on the apron and distracts Dominic, allowing Raul to hit a enziguri. Suddenly, Fallon Henley appears at ringside and pulls Elektra off the top rope. Legado del Fantasma come to face with Henley, but she has backup with the form of Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen. Ray spins Santos around and drop kicks him with a right hand. Inside the ring, Dominic knocks Mendoza on the middle rope with a head scissor and follows it up with a 619. Dominic heads up for a frog splash for the win, and he picks up the win. We see a video package for the incredible career of double WWE Hall of Famer who sadly passed away yesterday, this was Tuesday. We come back from commercial. Outside, Cora Jade is outside the Capitol Wrestling Center. She finds Mandy Rose's new SUV. She has a can of spray paint, but she looks at the NXT Championship and says this is what she wants and drop the can. Cora gets into the SUV, but when she adjusts the mirror, we see Mandy Rose in the back seat. Rose slams her head into the steering wheel. They get out of the car and Rose beats Cora down in the parking lot. Mandy says if Jay wants to fight her, that's just fine. She's not on her level. Mandy gets the spray can and sprays Jade's back. Then Gigi and Jay join her. The Creed brothers roll into the ring and say last week they got attacked before their opportunity for the NXT tag team titles. They want whomever attacked them to come out and get their asses beat like men. MSK came out wearing NWO shirts. Wesley says, "Hey, yo," and denies attacking the Creed brothers. They say they told the Creed brothers they could get their first shot at them if they won the titles. But they come out bitching and blaming them. Malcolm Bivens says they will no more line cut around here. The Creed brothers are next in line. The two teams bicker. Fabian Eichner and Marcel Barthel appear on the podium in the arena. Barthel says it's hilarious watching all of them argue about titles they can never win. Bivens says it's the one thing for them to stand up there and talk. But how about come down here and put those titles on the line against his boys? Wesley says at least they have the balls to face the Creed brothers face to face, unlike Eichner and Barthel, who knows they get bitch slapped by anyone in the ring. Eichner laughs and says they'd be happy to put their title belts on the line in the triple threat match at Stand and Deliver. Barthel says Bivens likes to talk about perception and reality. Well, perception will be that they are at a disadvantage in a triple threat, but in reality, Imperium fears no one. Cameron Grimes is interviewed backstage. He said he's all done lately is disappoint. He's going to be home watching Stand and Deliver. He wants to be there and win the North American Championship. The last thing he ever told his father that he'd sign for NXT and would become a champion. Yet 3 years later, he still hasn't done it. He's just a disappointment. So we come back from a commercial. Endris Inofi and Malik Black and the grizzled young veterans are arguing backstage, and Malcolm Bivens tells them to shut up. He just needs to know if any of them attacked the Creed brothers. Blade and Enofi say they couldn't have because they were attacking Mandy Rose's butlers. Zach Gibson says, now how can Bivens trust those creepy little simps? Bivens asked them if they did it, and Julian and Brutus joined him. Gibson says they didn't, but if they know they get a title shot, they would have. Bivens says they can run it back next week and put this to rest once and for all. Main event. Dolph Ziggler versus LA Knight for the NXT title. The main event gets underway with a lockup, and Knight overpowers Ziggler before knocking him flying with a shoulder tackle. They lock up again, and Ziggler grabs the leg. Ziggler takes Knight down with a headlock, but quickly fights up and hits a back elbow. Knight twists the arm, but Dolph lands a few Knight right hands and rakes the eyes. Knight counters a back suplex and hits a neck breaker for a 2 count. Knight counters a roll-up and clotheslines Ziggler over the ropes. Rude checks on Ziggler and gets him back in the ring, but Knight instantly catches him with a high angle body slam for near fall. Ziggler rolls out of the ring and we head to commercial. We return to see Dolph Ziggler jump on Knight's back with a sleeper. Knight slowly fights up with Ziggler on his back and runs him into the buckles to break the submission. Ziggler runs for a famouser, but Knight counters by slamming him into the mat. Knight lands some nice right hands and backs Ziggler into the corner and stomps him down. Knight hits a running knee and and elbow drop for a near fall. The camera cuts to the outside the building. Braun Breaker arrives at the building and makes his way inside. Knight grabs Ziggler from behind, but Dolph elbows him. Knight runs Ziggler into the buckles, then lifts him onto the ropes and climbs up. Knight wants a superplex, but Ziggler fights him off. Knight quickly leaps back up and hits a quick superplex, and covers Dolph for the champion to kick out. Knight lifts Ziggler up, but Rude gets on the apron and causes a distraction. Knight swings for Rude, and Ziggler looks to capitalize, but Knight hits him with a Death Valley driver and pins Ziggler, gets his foot on the bottom rope. Knight looks for the BTF, but Ziggler shoves him away. Knight runs at Dolph, but nobody's home. Then Ziggler hits a super kick and covers for the win. Dolph Ziggler is the winner and retains. As soon as the match ends, Braun Breaker music hits, and he marches down to the ring. Breaker gets the microphone and says he's not waiting to get his rematch. He wants Ziggler at Stand and Deliver. Rude moves for Breaker, but eats a right hand. Ziggler holds the title up in Braun's face and says, Stand and Deliver sounds good to me. And that was the end of NXT. So we are looking like we have Stand and Deliver all cinched up. We go to Dynamite. This was a loaded show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I am so glad that on Wednesday nights we just have a really good show to watch. But I do find faults. AEW is not a perfect company. I just would, if I have a choice, I'm going to watch AEW every single time. For instance, if they had a pay-per-view on and I could only pay for one, AEW is getting my money. AEW is AEW Dynamite St. Patrick's Day Slam is broadcasting live from the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, Texas. So we normally say Jim Ross usually say it's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. So he puts in, hey, yo, it's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. So it kind of like melds the two of them, and I think it should stay like that. That's my opinion. So we have AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page teaming up with the AEW Tag Team Champions Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I've got a little thing, and I wanted to make sure that I covered this. There's this new, I think her name is Crystal or Christine or something like that. She's that big, muscular woman on NXT. She's now like the new toy, the new Raquel Gonzalez. She actually went to high school with Jungle Boy. They are facing Adam Cole, Bebe, and Red Dragon, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. We are sold out here tonight, gentlemen, said Jim Ross. The fans are going to absolutely go bananas here, replied Shivani. Adam Cole went right after Jungle Boy, but Jungle Boy rammed his shoulder into Cole and turned things around with a Hurricane Rana. Luchasaurus tagged in and dished out chops to all three members of the opposing team. Standing on the arena floor, Bobby Fish kicked out the ankle of Luchasaurus, who has been standing on the apron. Kyle O'Reilly tagged in and pounded Luchasaurus with kicks and elbows. They isolated Luchasaurus in their corner of the ring. Luchasaurus exploded out of the corner with double lariats to Red Dragon and tagged Hangman Page. Page jumped over the top rope onto Cole and O'Reilly. Then they took out Bobby Fish with a pop-up power bomb for a near fall. Jungle Boy made the tag and flipped over the rope and crashed onto all three members of the opposing team. They hit triple moonsaults on Kyle, Page, and Fish. Triple moonsaults? I never seen that, said Shivani. Red Dragon rallied back with combination offense on Jungle Boy for a near fall. Jungle Boy jumped off the top rope, but he ate a super kick from Cole. O'Reilly was wrenching away with a leg lock on Luchasaurus until it was broken up inadvertently. Cole and Page traded shots, and Page blasted Cole with the Deadeye. Page followed up with a choke clothesline. Jungle Boy nailed Kyle and Cole with a double doomsday device off the top rope. Every time I hear the doomsday, my boo. The fans chant, "This is awesome." Cole dropped his knee pad and lowered the boom on Jungle Boy. Cole scored the pin on Jungle Boy. When Adam Cole drops that boom in, I'm not sure there's an AEW athlete who can stop it. Said Excalibur. Cole was staring into the eyes of Hangman Page as Cole pinned Jungle Boy. They have unfinished business, no doubt about it, said Ross. Tony Schiavone was backstage with Keith Lee and Powerhouse Hobbs and Absolute Ricky Starks. Here's the deal, my man. Should you go on Rampage this Friday, me and Hobbs are going to stomp your lights. Lee laughed. The same thing, see you all on Friday. Jon Moxley and the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, with William Regal, versus Chuck Taylor and Wheeler Yuta, with Trent Beretta, Orange Cassidy, and Danhausen. William Regal joined the broadcast booth for this match. Moxley charged at Chuck Taylor. Bryan brought the battle to Wheeler Yuta as the bell rang. A calculated attack, said Regal. Moxley hit a delayed vertical suplex on Yuta. Mox clubbed Yuta with his forearms and raked his back. Bryan tagged in and dropped a knee to Wheeler for a near fall. Taylor tagged in and neutralized Moxley on the outside with a dive. Chuck applied the single leg crab on Danielson, but Danielson reached and tagged Moxley. Taylor and Moxley traded chops, but Mox knocked Taylor to the mat. Danielson tagged in and kicked Chuck Taylor in the sternum. Bryan bridged back to an Indian deathlock. Moxley tagged in and connected with a short dropkick to Taylor. Moxley superplexed Taylor for a near fall. Moxley transitioned into a hammerlock. Moxley spiked Chuck Taylor with a pile driver. Yuta managed to steal a tag and he splashed Moxley in the corner. Yuta connected with a waistlock German suplex. That was a perfect bridge, said Regal. Chuck Taylor tried to pile drive Mox on the outside of the ring, but Moxley countered with a paradigm shift. In the ring, Bryan blasted Wheeler with a barrage of kicks. Moxley grabbed Yuta with a Saito suplex. Danielson grabbed Yuta with a side capture suplex for a near fall. The fans began to chant Yuta in support. Danielson tried to kick Yuta's head in after capturing his arms. He tagged Mox, and Mox forced Wheeler to tap out, applying the Bulldog chokehold. Moxley and Danielson have a perfect 2-0 record, said Excalibur. On the way out to the ring, Wheeler returned from the ramp. Wheeler extended his hand to Regal, but instead Regal slapped Wheeler. Yuta in the face. Regal smiled, and Yuta said, "I'll be back." Yuta did not back down at all. He said, Excalibur. I guess this is going to be another maybe stable. Yuta is going to leave the best friends because I think Trent Beretta don't like Wheeler Yuta. FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler are backstage. Tony Schiavone and Schiavone asked about FTR recent firing of Tully Blanchard. FTR said Tully lost his focus, and when you lose your focus, you get fired. The Young Bucks interrupted FTR. Matt Jackson, maybe you guys should fire your current stylist as well. You can hire the best manager in the world, but deep down inside, you're always going to be second best tag team in AEW. The Acclaim were backstage. Matt Caster said it was him versus Keith Lee on this Friday on Rampage. Hobbs and Stark told the Acclaim to get the job done. This Friday, Swerve Strickland laughed at Starks and said, This was Swerve's house. Jericho Appreciation Society commencement. All right. I've learned to appreciate Chris Jericho as an adult and as him jumping ship to go to AEW. Now, I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's happening, but it's happening. I'm digging this. I know I'm shocked, whatever. Is there anything above a goat? Seriously. Right now he is in the realm of almost like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and all that. Now, those are legends, okay? One more thing. Brie Danielson was in the back with her kids cheering on her husband. Oh, Vince McMahon must be having a fucking heart attack at this point. The influencer Chris Jericho was out with his new faction consisting of Jake Hager, Daniel Garcia, and 2.0 Jeff Parker and Matt Lee. Jericho has a lot of explaining to do. It looks like he's trying to regroup his people. Is that the case? Ask Jim Ross from Commentary Booth. Matt Lee, you guys love being in all the fun, don't you? You know who allows that? The man right here, Chris Jericho. If it was up to me, there would be no sing-along, no nothing. And that's why Chris Jericho is a better man than me. Parker. And that's why this man deserves to be praised and idolized. Not for his contributions in the industry, but for his contributions as a human being. Jericho, I think about this. The earth has been around for 4.5 billion years. And yet you are the lucky enough to be alive during the Chris Jericho era. You're welcome for that. For over 30 years, I've been living vicariously through you. you for over 30 years, you have been living vicariously through me with my five-star matches, riveting promos. Hell, I even built a company like this one. Without Jericho, there would be no AEW. Essentially, yes. But instead of praising me, you undermine me. You don't appreciate me. The roster of AEW doesn't appreciate me. The inner circle never appreciated me. Sammy walked out on me. Santana and Ortiz left their buddy for their buddy Eddie Kingston. Had the audacity to make me tap out on TV. They don't appreciate me, but these men do. And that's why we are the Jericho Appreciation Society. We appreciate one another because we can't relate to the rest of AEW roster because they are nothing more than pro wrestlers. A pro wrestler has never been legendary or a millionaire. As a legendary millionaire many times over, that because I'm a sports entertainer. I'll say it again. I'm a sports entertainer because 4 out of the 5, because I don't know if Daniel Garcia, or I think Daniel Garcia was on 205. So yeah, so all of them are sports entertainers. Garcia's, I got to get this off my chest really quick. If you're going to call yourself a sports entertainer, well, then I am too. My name is Daniel Garcia, and I am a sports entertainer. Jericho, why does he appreciate me? I'll tell you why. A group of pro wrestlers in Buffalo were injured in a car crash. I've never met those men, but I donated thousands to help them. Garcia appreciated it, and and here, and he is here tonight. 2.0 is a stupid name. That's bad creative. So they're going by their real names going forward. I got I I got a call from my former best friend Kevin Owens, a few years ago who asked me to put them on my podcast to help them get a job. I put them on Talk is Jericho podcast and they got hired by AEW. So that is why they appreciate me. And we've got Jake Hager. He's a hand. He's he is the hands of it, the king. Hager, we are the JAS and we beat up pro wrestlers. Jericho, so there you have it. The latest reinvention of the master manipulator. And remember this date because this is the day that the new era begins. The era of sports entertainer. This is the Jericho Appreciation Society, and that is entertainment. This guy's going to make me want to buy a shirt, okay? TNT Championship match. Face of the Revolution, Mr. Mayhem Wardlow versus the TNT champion Scorpio Sky with Paige Van Zant, which she is now part of AEW, Austin Vanderford, and America's Top Team Dan Lambert. Sky and Warlord had a stare down. Sky applied a side headlock, but Wardlow powered out and tossed Sky across the ring. Paige got in Warlow's face outside the ring. Vanderford moved her aside. Vanderford distracted Warlow long enough for Sky to hit a sliding dropkick on Warlord. Warlow grabbed Scorpio Sky by the throat and launched him with a belly-to-belly suplex. Warlow tossed Sky a second time, but Warlow was clutching his ribs from all the body shots endured from Sky earlier. Wardlow spiked Sky with one-handed chokeslam, signal for the first movement of the Powerbomb Symphony. Wardlow planted Sky with one powerbomb and then a second powerbomb. Wardlow dropped Sky for a third time with the powerbomb. Dan Lambert jumped on the ring apron to distract Wardlow. Scorpio Sky rolled to the outside of the ring to buy some time. Wardlow was about to powerbomb Scorpio Sky on the arena floor. Then Shawn Spears walked onto the ramp with two steel chairs. MJF came out of the nowhere and drove Wardlow's face into the steel ring post. Wardlow on unsteady legs. Where did MJF come from? Said Ross. Scorpio Sky rolled up a dazed Warlord for the pin. Austin Vanderford ground and pounded Wardlow, but Wardlow fought up. Vanderford and Spears fought up. Vanderford and Spears. Wardlow grabbed MJF, but Spears blindsided Wardlow with steel chair to the back of MJF's. Pulled out a blank check and handed it over to Dan Lambert, who accepted the payoff. Wardlow is on an island all alone right now, said Shivani. Spears cracked Wardlow with a second chair shot. MJF put the diamond ring on. MJF cracked Wardlow in the head with the ring. This was your call, shouted MJF. The Hardys make their debut on AEW. They are facing Private Party, Mark Quinn, and Isaiah Cassidy. The Hardys are making their AEW tag team debut tonight. Matt began the match for his team and tried to tie up with Mark Quinn. Matt connected with forearms. Cassidy ran in, but Jeff Hardy chased him out. Jeff Hardy tagged into huge ovation. The Hardys used classic combination on Quinn and then one on Cassidy. Jeff Hardy drop kicked Quinn to the back. The fans chanted, "Let's go Hardys." The Hardys continued with the tandem offense on Mark Quinn. Matt Hardy dropped elbows on Quinn, but Quinn fired back with a kick to Matt's face. Cassidy tagged in and Private Party up the ante with tandem offense of their own onto Matt. Isaiah showing no respect for his former mentor, Matt Hardy, said Excalibur. After the distraction, the referee, Private Party pulled Matt Hardy's leg first onto the ring post. Mark Quinn stomped on Matt Hardy. Cassidy tagged in and he hammered Matt Hardy with stiff kicks and slugged him with a closed fist. Quinn ranked Matt's eyes and followed up with a drop kick. Quinn crashed down onto Matt outside the ring. Matt taking a hell of a beating here, said Shivani. Private Party isolated Matt in the corner and began to stomp a mud hole in him. Matt Hardy refocused and he was able to get the hot tag to Jeff Hardy. Matt Hardy connected with a double leg drop to Cassidy. Hardy used a Russian leg sweep. Jeff flattened Isaiah Cassidy. Jeff climbed to the top rope, but Mark Quinn split Jeff's legs. Private Party were looking for gin and juice, but Matt Hardy hit the side effect. Jeff used diamond splash off the middle rope onto Cassidy for a near fall. Jeff and Matt nailed Private Party with a double twist of fate. Jeff dropped a swanton bomb on Cassidy and scored the pin. Andrade El Idolo's music, and Andrade walked out onto the ramp with the AFO, the Butcher, the Blade, the Bunny, and Jose the assistant. The AFO surrounded the ring, but then Darby Allin and Sting rushed to the ring to even up the numbers. The crowd once again comes unglued, said Jim Ross. All right, this is the main event. Ladies of the WWE, you need to start doing shit like this. I don't want to hear it. If a guy could do all this shit, then you can do it. Oh, because you don't want to screw up your face or you don't want to get a boo-boo? Give me a fucking break, people. Give me a break. AEW Women's World Championship Steel Cage match. Champ Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Thunder Rosa. The champ is coming out solo, said Excalibur. Well, there's nothing Baker could do about it because she'll be in a cage, replied Shivani. And they had a really big entrance for her, Thunder Rosa, with the mariachi band, the female. She had like her whole face painted like you see in the Day of the Dead. It's totally awesome. Totally awesome. And then you really wonder the reason why that they changed the title. Doesn't it look like the Gift of the Gods from the Lucha Underground? And tell me I'm wrong. Baker paid homage to Scott Hall with her ring attire. God bless Scott Hall, said Tony Schiavone. Baker immediately tried to climb out of the cage, but Thunder Rosa pulled her down to the mat. Baker fired back by hammering Thunder Rosa with shots. Thunder Rosa kicked Baker and then landed a clothesline. Thunder Rosa rammed Baker into the unforgiving steel cage. Britt's in a bad way here, said Shivani. Baker was bleeding, and Thunder Rosa began pushing Baker's forehead back and forth against the fencing. Thunder Rosa rammed Baker face first into the steel cage outside the ring. Baker shoved Rosa away. Ref Paul Turner checked on Baker's laceration. Now the cage. I want to just touch on this. It looks like that they took the cage that WWE uses and they kind of downside the Hell in the Cell, which I like that. I like that a lot because what do you call that? People could go underneath the ring and cut. Now they have no way of getting in. Just a little FYI, WWE. It's a damn bloodbath, said Ross. Thunder Rosa hits a stunner on Baker and followed up with a double knee strike to the champ. Thunder Rosa gouged Baker's forehead. Baker cracked Thunder with a back elbow. Baker rocked Paul Turner with a mistimed super kick. Thunder Rosa nailed Baker with the Thunder Fire driver, but there was no referee to count the pin. Thunder Rosa placed a steel chair on Britt Baker and climbed to the top. Britt got up and cracked Thunder Rosa 3 times with the steel chair. Britt's going strong style with those chair shots, says Ross. Baker piled up steel chairs in the corner of the ring. Baker climbed to the top turnbuckle and smashed Thunder Rosa onto the chairs below with an air raid crash. Ref Aubrey Edwards entered the ring and counted, but it was only a near fall. Thunder Rosa kicked out. Baker set up chairs in front of Thunder Rosa. Baker hoists Thunder Rosa onto the top turnbuckle. Britt is looking not only to end the night, but to end the career of Thunder Rosa, said Excalibur. Britt and Thunder Rosa slugged it out on the top turnbuckles. Thunder Rosa rammed Britt Baker head first into the steel cage, and Baker fell backwards, her spine crashing onto the steel chairs. Below, Thunder Rosa ate a desperation super kick from Britt Baker. Britt Baker pulled a bag of thumbtacks from underneath the ring, then spilled them onto the canvas. Thunder Rosa counted out, but Baker back body dropped Rosa onto the thumbtacks for a near fall. Baker transitioned and tried to apply the lockjaw, but Thunder bit down on Baker's hand. Thunder Rosa powerbombed Baker onto the thumbtacks. These two amazing gladiators are loaded with thumbtacks, said Ross. Britt Baker cracked Thunder Rosa with a steel chair. Thunder Rosa rallied back with a Thunder fire driver on to the thumbtacks and pinning Dr. Britt Baker and becoming the new AEW World Women's Championship. Thunder Rosa came home with the richest prize in her game, said Ross. The best of the business, Thunder Rosa in her adopted hometown. The new AEW Women's World Champion added Excalibur. So tonight, where they're going to be going live at 11, or they're going to be going on at 11:30. If I don't stay up, oh well, I'm just going to go to sleep. So hopefully that you'll watch and everything like that. Whatever. I'm going to watch it tomorrow morning, and I'm having my coffee. Also, I want you to, I forgot to promote these people. Sorry. That is it for the week. That is it. I'm done. I'm finita. What I want all of you to do, please go check out Harry's Razors, Harry's.com. Go check out Maestro Classics. If you have a beard, this is the company for you, maestroclassics.com. Please go check out Liquid Death. If you want great sparkling water, flavored waters, whatever the case may be, you need something to quench your thirst or murder your thirst, there you go. LiquidDeath.com. Is your coffee not cutting it? Well, I got your hookup. Go check out Death Wish Coffee at deathwishcoffee.com. Please go check out, if you want to stay in the know in the world of professional wrestling, please go check out Ringside News at ringsidenews.com. Please go check out hogwrestling.net for, I'm serious, go check it out. They're doing some great things over there. Go check them out at hogwrestling.net. Please, they're having a what is it called? A camp. If you're interested to becoming a professional wrestler, a commentator, a ring announcer, a referee, anything that's connected to, even an interviewer, please go check them out at Outbreak Wrestling. They're on YouTube, they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter. Please go check them out. On April 30th, they're going to have a camp. No fans are allowed. Now, in case I have a feeling they're going to make some exceptions, but please don't think that you're going to go out there with a chair, sit down and watch wrestling, because you're not. This is a business. This is a actual seminar almost. So go check that out. And please, please go follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter, Mel'S Mat Chat. You can check me out on Facebook. You could go check me out on Snapchat and find me on TikTok. Please do that. And if you are catching me or seeing this, please just go and like and subscribe to my channel. And if you want, you can share it on all your social media platforms. Please just tag me in. And please subscribe and turn on all my notifications so when I go live, you'll know about it. I want everybody to have a great weekend. I'll be back here for 2:34 next week at this time. Have a wonderful weekend. I love you and enjoy your weekend. Bye.